North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ordered his military on standby for nuclear strikes at any time. The threats are part of the government's ramped-up propaganda push to signal strength at home and abroad in the face of what it portrays as an effort by South Korea and the United States to overthrow its leadership. North Korea has threatened nuclear war in the past, but it is unclear just how advanced the country's nuclear program really is. Most experts say it's highly unlikely that the North currently has a reliable unconditional ballistic missile capable of reaching the U.S. shores, let alone the ability to arm it with a miniaturized nuclear warhead. But the North can probably place the nuclear warhead on its shorter range scrubs and its 1,300 kilometer range Rundog missiles, which can strike targets in South Korea and Japan, said Lee Kun-gwen, an analyst from the South State funded by Science and Technology Policy Institute. So what do you think? Will North Korea go on with this nuclear threat and make it a reality?
Thanks, Alyssa. We all wonder what happens in space, but what about how space changes the body? On Tuesday this week, astronauts Scott Kelly and Michael Kornico came home from being in space for 340 days. The US and Russia worked together on this mission. Astronaut Scott was working with scientists to see how space travel affects the body. So to test the difference between space and Earth, Scott had his twin brother be tested while he was in space. There have been many cases where astronauts have come back from space and had to change their vision prescriptions. Space is also known to affect the bones since they were floating around and didn't need to use their legs very much. Scott also had to take a flu shot by himself so the scientists can see how the immune system works in space. Space is also known to make astronauts taller. In Scott's case, he came home being 2 inches taller and is now 1/100th of a year younger than he would be on Earth. These effects won't last though. Scott said the hardest thing is being isolated from the people you love. Hopefully the scientists will use this information to help astronauts in the future come back healthier. Next up is Hannah with good news.
Thank you, Anna. A dog stolen as a puppy was returned to a family by shelter volunteers 100 miles away. Rihanna Pitbull Mix was stolen from her porch of her home in Broxenberg of New York 2.5 years ago. Rihanna was found last week 100 miles away and was brought into a shelter in Stamford, New Jersey. Staff at the Voorhees Animal Orphanage tracked down the original pet owners using a microchip. Rihanna was still a long way from home, so 2 volunteers at the shelter offered to make the 2-hour drive. This was an incredibly emotional situation, Lori Ballard, manager of the VAO, told Good News Network. Even though it had been years since Rihanna had seen her family, she was bouncing for joy to see her owners once more. That's all for today's episode of TCSN. Thanks for watching.